everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to another Paws on Netflix podcast.
Today we're covering the artistically amazing Netflix anime Blue Period.
Yes, this anime follows Yuta, who has been in a rather slump of a routine by going through the motions every day. But once he sees a beautiful painting by one of his classmates, Mora, his eyes are open to the world of art, and he starts his new adventure and his new earthly passion and goal of becoming the best artist.
Right. Oh God, now that's an old one there. Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification updates on future podcasts and multiple pause videos.
What was so exciting for us is that we got the manga first, the first 4 volumes, and it's extremely different from the anime, and it was very advantageous that we read the manga first.
Right.
Because there's so much that's left out of the anime, which we understand is something that's normal and happens all the time. But there's just so many good things that are left out, so much background's left out, and another thing that's left out is a lot of art procedures that I guess they thought would be tedious. But if you are someone who is an artist,
right,
and you're learning and you really love it and have a passion like the character does, then reading the manga first would be an absolute must and best for you, because it's so detailed, so informative. Even if you're not an artist yourself, you love that you're learning about different techniques and how things are done. The manga is really a joy.
Yes. And for the anime, one thing that does highlight is that for the characters, I think they try to have a little more focus on the characters' journey to becoming an artist, because the main thing in here is that he wants to go into the Tokyo Arts University or the Institute. They kind of have 2 of them, and they really make a big deal. TUA, that's it. And they make a big deal out of it because for this universe, I'm not sure if it's fictitious or if it's a real thing, that it's really hard to get into. Barely anybody makes it in. Okay. It's really hard to get into. So
remember, we read a manga called My So-Called Life as a Mangaka?
Yeah.
And she spoke of it in the
Yeah. Okay. Making sure. They really say it's hard to get into. Like, only barely people get in. It's really, really tight knit. So he wants to do the best he can in every single painting, and each time he's kind of finding out more about himself and his emotions, because he seems to not really have that much emotion outside of the basic stuff. So he kind of is experiencing new things through the art, and he's a lot more emotional now when he does the artwork. Like, he really loves, like, when he does these paintings, he's really self-conscious about everything he paints. Like, is anything he does going to come across? Is he going to do something different, something stand out? And when somebody understands what he's doing with the painting, he just breaks down in tears because he's happy someone understands the art.
Yes. What I really like is, again, I'm very glad we read the manga first. Didn't even know this was coming on. We had the 4 mangas, and then the next thing we knew, it was the first episode.
Yeah,
on Netflix. So like, oh, that lines up.
Yeah.
What I do like is the first volume itself lines up with the anime, and we're introduced to Yuta. He's out with his friends at a sports bar, smoking cigarettes, having a good time. And we're looking at him like, why would his parents let him stay out this late? Why are they letting him smoke cigarettes? And at first you're a little confused until later on you realize that regularly he lies to his parents and tells them that they're at the friend's house. So I'm guessing that all the friends tell the same lie, and they probably say, I'm at this friend's and that friend's and this friend's, and since it's not America and no one's checking, well, they stay out all night, hang out at the sports bar, smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
The next morning, he goes to school. And as we mentioned, art was not his focus, but after seeing this beautiful painting made by Mora, and he just falls in love with it. And then he also meets Yuka-chan in the beginning as well. You'll learn more about this character later. And what I really like is the first time, for me personally, seeing in an anime or a comic or anything that I've read or watched where the character falls in love immediately with the medium. He just automatically, I love it, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
And you find out that he can be really focused, determined, single-minded in terms of keeping blinders on and doing what he wants. And it's amazing that you go through the manga as well as the anime to see that he never deters from the path after he's chosen it.
Yeah.
And at first he was afraid that his friends were going to make fun of him. He didn't tell them. And they ended up seeing him do a blue painting, blue period, roll credits.
Right?
And as you were saying, he didn't think they were going to understand it. And when they saw it, and one of them explained exactly, oh, I remember that. We saw that there. And the other one said, oh, this represents this. And he just starts crying in tears. And they're like, why are you crying? And he says, because he's so happy he understood. And he thought they would laugh. They're like, no, we're your friends. It was like, oh,
yes.
That's great.
And another thing is that it sort of has an influence on them as well. Like, one of them wants to bake or cook, and he doesn't tell them yet. He only tells Yuta, and it kind of is revealed later that he does tell them. Don't know if it's like cut out from the anime and they had explained in the manga, but what has in here is that their habits they kind of stopped doing, like going to the bar and staying out late for that and drinking and smoking. They kind of end up stopping doing that slowly as it goes on, because there's like a bit of a time skip that they like cut out a chunk. They don't drink anymore. They don't really smoke. They start leaving behind those habits they were doing just to cut loose, and they actually are beginning to have focus in things they want to do.
Now, two things. One, we should tell you that in a lot of anime, you see that the character that's blonde is usually considered the bad boy. So he's got this little curly blonde hair, big pretty eyes. He's got not only ear cuffs but also earrings.
It's like, oh, it's everything.
He stays out, so he's supposed to be a bad boy.
Oh, God.
But he doesn't act like one.
No.
His personality isn't like one. He's really kind to other people. He gets along well with other people. And then Oda, who is the teacher for the art course, he learns more about himself as he progresses with his art and expresses himself, and she tells him what this means, and some of the students, you know, every now and then will have a little bit of wisdom to put upon him. And it's interesting how you see that the opinion or the image that he has totally conflicts with how he is as a person.
Yes.
And then, as I mentioned, Oda is the teacher. She calls him Yuguchi.
Yeah.
And I love her because she's loud, but she's friendly and loud, and she's outgoing, and she really loves her students. Yuguchi! Yuguchi! They're like, oh, it's my turn. And she calls them real loudly, but again, she really loves the students. You can tell she really cares about them. She wants them to succeed, but she's got this manner that's motherly at the same time, and she does have children, but she treats them like extended parts of her family.
Yes.
And when Yakuchi starts having problems later on in the anime,
I'll get to that too.
Yeah, he's having issues with a skin rash, his vision, headaches, and different
passing
things.
out. Yeah.
And she tells him all these little, she says, I've got some tricks for you. And she tells him these different things to do so that he's able to finish the exams for the entrance exams.
Right. And another thing that I like is that a lot of the stuff in here is very relatable and not trying too hard to be relatable, but actually relatable when you're an artist or you're in a similar situation as him. And a lot of things that I remember when I was taking art lessons and art classes, like I know a lot of these techniques and the different styles, and you can't draw on freshly watercolor painted canvas. Like, if you lost your mind, you'll rev up the paper, and I almost made me want to scream. And there were things in there where I really like that they don't portray art like when you see in other shows and stuff, they portray art or artists as it's either a tedious thing, or you can draw whatever thing you want, it'll be labeled as art, or an artist is a hack and they steal from artists and it's always a horrible way they paint artists, like they have no talent, so they take from other people and then they get profit off of it. And it's really horrible because not every artist is like that. It's a really bad image they paint, like it means nothing, especially if you're someone's in animation or cartooning or something. But for here, I like that there's no artist that's a scam. There's no one that's just faking it. There's no one that
There's some elitists.
Yeah.
But no.
Right. You have one that maybe just not into it as others, like, okay, maybe this just isn't it for them. They only got into it because of another reason. But others, they're really intense about the art and they want to do it well. They want to do it right. They want to stand out. They want to achieve everything they can. And it's great that they have this goal, they have this focus, and they're portraying artists in a more positive light rather than some con artists. And it's very refreshing that you have that. And let's go ahead.
Another thing that's refreshing while we're on that are his parents. Now, he didn't tell his parents at first because he didn't know how they were going to react. He thought they would be negative and probably try to stop him. So he filled out the paperwork on his own, and he wasn't going to say anything until he ended up having to have a signature from a parent. And I think he forged his mom's signature.
Yeah, and they said, you can't
and
do
then
that.
they found out later, and at first they were surprised this is what he wanted to do. But eventually, in a very short period of time, they accepted his decision, and they supported him in their own way. Not the way you would see traditionally, but you knew that they cared. And one part that's really sweet is he draws a sketch of his mom in the kitchen and gives it to her. And every time you see her from then on out in the anime, she's got that little sketch behind her back when she sees him and talks to him. And when he leaves, she takes it out and looks at it, and you see how she's so proud of him, and she loves the sketch.
Yes,
and it's like, this is how I see you, and loving and caring, and it's like you give a little kid a favorite toy and they can't put it down. She doesn't put the picture down whenever around her. She has it behind her back, and she's so proud. And so's the dad. And I like the way that that's portrayed, instead of fighting them and arguing and I'm an artist and you can't stop me, which is really just
right.
And a trope that just needs to go away. And I like the way it's done here. And it's a slice of life anime, which we
very slice of life.
It's really it's fun, it's nice, it's got some drama. There's nothing in here right now that's tragic. We hope tragedy doesn't come about.
Right, because they kind of give some hints. We're just hoping that's just as is.
And it's just a really nice anime. If you just want something that's a slice of life, if you love art, you want to see an anime about art, if you haven't seen it yet, this is the one to do. The anime, before it even aired, they were showing pictures of Yukochi, and he was already famous just because of how he looked.
The anime even came out.
Yes, before it even came out. And then once it came out, it got even worse. And now you can even get gifts of him now, looking for them. But it's definitely worth the watch if you haven't seen it. It's exclusive to Netflix. Give it a watch and get the manga as well, because again, there's so much left out. And you won't be so lost when the anime has these huge time skips and whole stories.
Yeah, and they were trying to squeeze it in. They were trying to squeeze it in a set amount of episodes for one season to see if Netflix will continue.
But in that manga, all that stuff is filled in, and it's a really great story. So if you can, do both.
Plus, you'll get some very great art tips and lessons within the manga too.
Absolutely.
So,
and if you have seen us, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you've read the manga, let us know what you think as well. Do you have a favorite character? Are you looking forward to season 2? There's got to be a season 2, because the way season 1 ended doesn't make any sense.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, and notification with dates of future podcasts and more of the past videos.
And season 2 and more on YouTube.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.